Hi, welcome to this edition of 10 in 10, where we try to get through 10 education technology topics in 10 minutes. You only got to watch for 10 minutes so you won't get bored. So sit back, relax. It's only 10 minutes long. Today we're looking at 10 awesome English language arts sites. These are all websites. Some are for teachers, some are for students, some are for teachers and students. So let's get started. Our very first website is Read, Write, Think. Read, Write, Think is from the National Council of Teachers of English. It's a great website. It's got tons and tons of up-to-date. I love websites that keep themselves up to date, and so Read, Write, Think is a great site. It's got videos. It's got professional development on English language arts topics, how to teach particular things to particular types of students. It's a great website. It's also got tons and tons of classroom resources. So if you're looking for that special lesson plan, you're not getting a topic across to your students, why not try Read, Write, Think from the National Council of Teachers of English? And here's the website. It's really easy to remember, readwritethink.org. It's great. You'll spend hours there just going through all the great resources. Our next website is one of my favorites. This is almost every website, every show I keep coming back to this because it's so full of great material. This is iTunes U. iTunes U is a website. It's actually a service that's provided by Apple computers where they aggregate all these lessons, entire courses, into single space on their iTunes website. So if you've got a Mac or a PC or some kind of iOS device, you have access to iTunes U. It's in iTunes. So if you've got the program iTunes on your device, you've got iTunes U. Just type in English language arts or type in reading or type in spelling. Then it'll come up with tons and tons of courses that are available that you can take or your students can take. These are great resources, iTunes U. Our next website is Wonderopolis. This is one of those websites that nobody knows about, but it's a great website. Every single day they have a single question that the kids send in, and they answer it. And so each one is a wonder. So you have a daily wonder, and so I wonder. And this has been going on for years and years and years. And so these are great conversation starters in classes. So you can actually do a search for a wonder that might have to do with a topic that you're talking about in class. And you can play that little video on Wonderopolis, which explains whatever you're talking about. So kids all have lots of questions, especially our little ones. Why is the sky blue? Why do I get a scab when I cut myself? Those are all answered in Wonderopolis. So those are a daily wonder that you can post up in your classroom while you're taking your attendance or something's going on. You can pop that up. Wonderopolis. It's a great website. And to get there, all you got to do is pop in wonderopolis.org. Wonderopolis.org. And you notice that the logo kind of looks like Willy Wonka's writing up there. So Wonderopolis, it's a great website. Our next website is from the National Association for the Advancement of the Humanities, and it's called Citment. And so sometimes we kind of forget how art and what we're doing kind of mix together, how social studies and English language arts and the arts all fit in together. And this great site, Citment, does that. So you can find things that have to do with poetry, with reading, with all different kinds of things, novel writing, all different kinds of things, and they show how it links in with the social studies and with the arts, and it's a wonderful site. Citment. It's the best of the humanities on the web. It's one of those aggregator sites where they just kind of take stuff from all over the web, put it together, so you don't have to go search for it. It's there for you. The way to get there is to go to edcitment.nih.gov. So that's National something of the Humanities. So I forget what the E stands for. So anyway, next one is a website that probably every single one of our elementary teachers know about. It's called Starfall. Starfall is a great way to get students to learn their basics of reading and writing and letter recognition. And so you got students down in kindergarten, preschool that are learning their ABCs. Starfall is a place to have them play some games. There's some really great games that they can do letter recognition, word recognition, simple sentences, putting them all together, what's a verb, what's a noun, all those kind of things. Starfall is a great website to go to, and the website is located at starfall.com. Now you might have to put up with some advertising But the resources are so good that you won't even mind putting up with a little bit of advertising. And all the advertising on there has to do with education, so none of it's inappropriate. All right. Our next website is Wordle. Wordle is one of my favorite websites. If you haven't made word clouds with your students, do it. It's really a great way to start playing around with words. So for instance, a word cloud, if you're not familiar with what a word cloud is, you take a speech or you take some kind of large amount of text and you put it into Wordle. And what Wordle does is it takes all the words, and the size of the word depends on how often that word shows up in the text. So say for instance, you put in the Constitution. Then one of the words that would show up really big would be rights, and another word that would show up big would be United States, because those show up a lot in the Constitution. This is a great thing to do, is to show the kids a Wordle before you do a reading, so they can kind of predict what the reading is about. They can look at the word cloud and try to say, hey, I think this is about this topic, based on just looking at the word cloud. So that's one way to use Wordle. And to get to Wordle is wordle.net, W-O-R-D-L-E.net. It's a great place. It's one of the original word cloud sites. There's lots of word cloud sites out there, but Wordle's the first, and I'm loyal, so it's the best. So our next website is Project Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg is like the granddaddy of free websites. It's got 42,000 free texts that are out there. 42,000. So all those texts, all those books that are out in the public domain that we often go to stores to buy, you can get for free on Project Gutenberg. So all those ones like The Great Gatsby and Moby Dick and Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, all those books that are in the public domain, what Project Gutenberg has done is they've digitized every single one of them. There's 42,000 of them. It's an incredible collection. It's an entire library right there in one website. Project Gutenberg, of course, they're referencing back to the Gutenberg printing press. What their goal is to digitize all public domain texts and put them up online. And the way to get there is to go to gutenberg.org. Okay, our next website is another really cool website where they've taken texts and they've digitized them so students can read them. And this is the International Children's Digital Library, ICDL. What's neat about this site is that they take picture books. They've taken picture books and they've digitized them so students can read the textbook and see the pictures. And what's really neat about this website is the word international. They've taken text from all over the world. So what you can do with your students is show them a text with the pictures in a language they don't know, and then ask them, what is this text about? Can you write the story based on just the pictures? And then you can see, and then have them figure it out. And they can flip through the book just like they can in a regular textbook. Of course, it's all on a screen, but the International Children's Digital Library, a great resource, and it's all free. All this stuff is great. And the way to get there is EN, that stands for English, .childrenslibrary.org. Now again, if you want to show, they pull up books in all different languages, so this would also work with our English language learners in Spanish, or any language for that matter. Our next website is the Teacher's Corner. Now the Teacher's Corner has something in it. It's not necessarily the whole website, but there's something in the Teacher's Corner called the daily writing prompts. And the daily writing prompts are really interesting because they have one for each day of the year. And so that's the way to get your students' creative juices flowing. You give them a single daily writing prompt. There's 365 of them, 366 if we have a leap year, and it's on the Teacher's Corner, and here's how you get there. It's a really long website, so we narrowed it down. We got it down, went to bit.ly, and it's called bit.ly/10DBGF6. And I think that's an O, not a 0. The last one I want to tell you about is Vukaroo. Vukaroo is a great website. Students can record their voices and have it play back to them. And that's a really, really great website called Vukaroo. So if students write something, they can read it to Vukaroo. Vukaroo will play it back to them. You don't. It's the simplest website. That's the whole website. That picture right there. That's the whole website. They just press record, and it records and then plays it back, so they can hear their grammatical errors. Let's go through the ones really quick. Got just a few seconds. Read, Write, Think, iTunes U, Wonderopolis, Ed Citment, Starfall, Wordle, Project Gutenberg, the International Children's Digital Library, Daily.